Dayon og iyang asawang Bulanon
magtiayon sa lalawigan sa Bohol.
Ng isang dayuhan at ang kanyang asawang Pilipina.
7 taon ng mag-asawa sina Terence at Beth na nakatira ngayon sa lungsod ng Talibon, Bohol. Suportado ni Congresswoman Alexi Totor ang programang pabahay ng mag-asawang Martin sa probinsya ng Bohol dahil sa inisyatibong tumulong sa mga Boholano.
Don't forget to share and subscribe our YouTube.
Hey, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, so often the comments will inspire a new video. And the video that I'm inspired to make this time is in defense of our little girl, Lovely. And a lot of you have been very critical of Lovely. And so I felt I would share a little bit about Lovely and what she is like off camera as well as on camera. Okay, so Lovely came to us maybe somewhere between 4 months and 6 months ago, and one of the reasons that she came to us was because she visited us quite a lot. But sorry, let me take you back to the beginning. And the beginning for Lovely was a few years ago when I first started taking the family to the church at Burgos. And I would roll up with the truck, various trucks that we've been through, and outside the church would always be 4 or 5 kids, and they were LJ, who is the oldest sister of Lovely, Jeanette and Luella, and they would all be there because they're very close, coming from the same village. Now, I knew the mother because the mother also attended the church, and the kids were there, and they would be there to welcome us as we rolled up in the truck, and they would always be there. They were our welcoming committee. Now, I'm only looking at Lovely because she was so tiny, and what I didn't know then was that she was what in the Philippines they call a malnourished child, and a malnourished child is one who has failed to keep pace with her own years in terms of growth. So they're not growing fast enough, they're not getting enough of a good diet. Now, as time went by, it seems to me that she just remained tiny even over the years. And in joking, I used to pick her up, put her under my arm, and go to her mother, Lilybeth, and say, can I take her home with me? And we would all laugh. But we formed a bond with all of those children that were outside, and especially Lovely. And when I used to go into the church and sit for whatever was left of the service, she would come and stand next to me. And we became friends without talking, if you can understand. A bond was formed. Now, sadly, during that time, of course, we actually went to the village where she lived, and we saw the tiny, dilapidated, broken down house that the family was living in, and we built them a new house. So we built them a new house. Now, the first thing that we did was we gave Lilybeth a bed, because when we arrived there first, we saw her in this tumble down house, and she was lying there, and she was sick, and she was lying straight onto the floor. And at that time we were working with a friend and subscriber, dear friend and subscriber, called Sandman Steve. And Sandman Steve had a particular mission of giving wanting to make sure that people, for his own special reasons, which I'll go into at another time, that he wanted everyone to have a good night's sleep. So he would give us some money to buy mattresses, and we would put them in the back of the truck, and we would go and we'd give them away. And Lilibeth was one of the people that we gave the mattress to. Now, fast forward then over the time, and Lilibeth met us 2 years ago outside the park by the municipal hall in Talibon. And in a very sad moment, she asked Beth, if anything happens to me, will you take care of my children? And of course, we said yes. I wasn't privy to this conversation because it was in Versailles. But Beth told me later, and I said, of course we would. So when it became clear that on visits by LJ, who came to see the family, our family, in our house here, in Nanai's house, Lovely started coming with us. And they started coming regularly, bringing coconut and cow poop, which they picked up for fertilizer, and they would sell that to us, and of course we would buy just to help out. Now, the mother died, and we helped with the funeral. We got power put on at the house, and we bought them a little television, and we just started helping out. And we'd always been fairly connected to the family anyway. So Lovely started to spend more time with us, and we bonded very well. And so we decided, after talking to the father, we decided that we would foster her if he was in agreement. And he was in agreement because he was finding it difficult to handle the kids, because he was now a single parent with his wife gone. And so we went to talk to the state registered social worker at the Village of Hope, who prepared the paperwork, and we invited the then father and then stepmother, who had joined with the father by that time, and they had put their families together, which made it a little bit more difficult for Lovely as well, because now each of the single parents had children of their own, so it became a large family in a small house. Lovely was very much in favour of staying with us. She actually sleeps at Nanai's house with Bibi and Taliklik, who also stay with Nanai. So that's the arrangement. We met with the social worker, who in her official capacity prepared the paperwork for fostering, and we signed an agreement which was co-signed with the parents, and that's why Lovely is here. Now when she came to us, she weighed about 15 kilos. Now, 15 kilos is not very much, and she was a tiny little girl. I was thinking that she might be, I don't know, 6 or maybe 7 years old, but she was too clever for that, and it turned out that rather than 6 going on 7, she was actually 9 going on 10. So we had to adjust to that. Then we started to try to help her to put some weight on. And we did do that, and she is a much healthier, much, not fatter, but a much bigger, healthier child than she was before. Now, something else that came about. She has never had any discipline. So, you know, those of you who are saying that she is hyper or she needs to be taught some manners or some rules, you're all correct. But give the kid a break. You know, it's real easy to judge. And one thing that Beth and I will have to agree with you on, and that is, she can be the most annoying kid in the world because she is just full of life. We went out, Lovely and I went out yesterday, and we went out and we had to go to the bank. There's been such long lines at the ATM, it's been impossible. And then when you get to the ATM after waiting for an hour or an hour and a half, they might actually have run out of money. One of the things about living in the province. Now, we went out, and during that time we did some grocery shopping. We did the ride down there. We went and had breakfast at Vedasto. We spent the morning together. I came back and I said to Beth, you know, I know that she is a handful, but this child is just so full of life. You have to love her. During the ride down to the main road, now there's a 2-mile slow, bumpy, often through deep mud ride in the truck, and that's about half an hour. In the ride between the house, leaving the house with Lovely, and getting to the main road and then on to Talabon, I had more intelligent conversation with that little girl than I've had over years of trying to bring on other Filipino kids that are in our lives, because they suffer from what can only be described as terminal shyness. They're just so shy. Lovely gets over that very quickly with people that she knows. Now, you know, she can. We've on a few occasions, Nana especially has gone, shut that, because she will say things which are too adult for a kid to say. And so she can offend a lot of people, put their nose out of joint because she is like this. Well, that's just one of the downsides of Lovely, but the rest is so incredible. She is such an incredible little girl that you have to forgive her anything. Now, we discipline her, we stop her from coming out with us if we're going down, and she loves to come out with us every time. She loves to go down and have lunch or breakfast at Vedasto or wherever we're going. She just loves to be part of everything. So if she has been misbehaved, if she has been talking out of turn, then we stop her from going out. And she's been grounded for a week. At one point we said we didn't intend to make her go home, but because she has never ever showed any interest or willingness to go back to the village to stay at all, we've said to her, look, You can't keep behaving like this and offending people. So, we're going to send you home, and you have to go home for 3 or 4 days so that you can decide for yourself whether changing behavior is worth it in order to be here. She didn't want to go home. Beth, in the spirit of compromise, said to her, okay, then you have to stay at home, no going out, with Nanai for 1 week. That's your choice. You can either go home and have a few days at home, or you can have a week out of action, grounded with Nanai. And she said, Nanai, I'll take the time with Nanai. And we did that. And it helps. So gradually we are getting her to realize that she can't go around letting her mouth run off whatever is in her mind. And we are getting there. Give us a break. This is a brilliant child in my mind. A brilliant child. She learned, just in that morning, she learned all about how the truck works. What is this? What is that? What does that do? What, you know? And she wears you out, actually. But it's worth it. Here's something that I noticed. Wherever we've gone to a couple of hotels, we've been to a couple of resorts where there are other people that are there, staff and just other people. When we go to Vedesto, when we go into anywhere where there are people that she can interact with, when we do our building projects, when we did the building project in Tai Tai, we were there for a month and a half, 2 months. When we did Gindoman, we were there for a month and a half, 2 months. Now, when we're leaving, people say goodbye to us, but they say, bye lovely. They all know her name, and they all light up when she comes. In Tai Tai, little boys used to line the road as we were leaving, and they would say, I love you, lovely. This is a special kid. Enjoy her growing up and learning, because it's there to be enjoyed. She's special. So we hope that our fostering will continue, and that's it. So let Lovely unfold. She is a special gift that is slowly unfolding, and we all love and adore her. And bye for now.